Alright guys, let's talk about the Ar15 speed reload. We'll demonstrate it right-handed and then left-handed. Again, this is standard Ar15 stuff. If you have aftermarket parts, then we can talk about those in person, or you can ask me, show me pictures of what you got, and I'll do my best to explain. But for the most part, I encourage you guys to learn these basic malfunctions with a standard Ar15. Try not to solve problems with hardware when you can solve them with software. In other words, solve them with techniques and knowledge and skills, because that means you can pick up any rifle and still know how to make it work. It's not just your gun. For example, if you have a bad lever or whatever like that, you learn how to use the manipulations with a bad lever. When you go to someone else's rifle that doesn't have a bad lever, or if your bad lever breaks, or your bad lever hangs up on a piece of gear and falls off or something like that, then you're going to be screwed because you're missing buttons and you're trying to do your shortcut, but your shortcut doesn't always make a shorter path, right? So let's grab a rifle here. Again, this rifle is clear. We have the magazine, dummy rounds. It's going to go inside the rifle. We're going to grab our next magazine, put it in my pocket. Okay, so let's look at the reload. So let's say we go to bolt lock, because that'll be the most common of our emergency reloads, reactive reloads. So the way I like to teach is, instead of saying emergency reloads or speed reloads and then tactical reloads, I like to call them reactive reloads and proactive reloads, right? So this is a reactive reload now. Earlier in the tactical reload video, that is a proactive reload, okay? So this one we do it when we have to, we don't do it when we want to. The tactical reload or proactive reload is done when we want to, not when we have to. So anyways, here I am shooting, looking really cool, making cool noises, like it's 1999, and run out of ammunition, goes to bolt lock, okay? So some schools will teach you to roll this over and take a look and assess the situation of the chamber. That's optional. You don't have to do that. That's up to you. If you want to, great. If you don't want to, great. Right? But I've heard the debate go either way. The theories go either way. And for me, I learned that it was just taking extra half a second to gain a little bit more information. And if it's dark and you can't see, so what? But if it's daytime and you can see, okay, you got some information. So anyways, we're done shooting here. Go to bolt lock. Okay, magazine's out. I would go up to reach my magazine release. As I press, sometimes the magazine will fall out, sometimes it won't. So if you try to make it fall out and it doesn't come out, what do? Okay, so there's a couple ways to do it. One way is to do this flip. Press the button, you flick the magazine off to your left. Another one is to press the magazine and flip it out to your right. So that would be the mag flip, the tactical mag flip that people were joking about once upon a time. The other one, again, giving you good consistency, is you just grab the magazine on your way down, you take it out, and you just chuck it, right? Because this hand's got to go down to your pouches and stuff anyway. So on your way out, just make sure it's cleared out. This is a new magazine, it's very fresh. The rifle's new, very fresh, so they haven't really broken in. Okay, fine. So you just grab the magazine, out it comes, drop it, get your next magazine in, bring it right up in front of your eyes, slam it in place. Because we're at bolt lock, if you want to, go ahead and reach up here with your thumb, press the bolt release. You guys should mostly know where that is, but that's the top of the ping pong paddle. Go ahead and push it. And when I do push it, you'll see the bolt go forward on our dummy round. Okay, so we push it hard, bolt goes forward on the dummy round. Now, we can assess, do you need to fire? If not, back on safe, back to ready position. Let's try this again. Okay, so let's set it up. One rifle, empty magazine at bolt lock, fresh ammunition in a fresh magazine. You attempt to fire, you're like, oh crap, I'm at bolt lock. You inspect, okay, cool, I'm at bolt lock. If you want to do a mag flip, go ahead, do a mag flip. Doesn't always work, right? The magazine just goes out, goes on the ground. Next one comes in. Ping pong paddle, go forward, bolt closes. Back on target, we assess, do you need to fire? If not, back on safe, back to ready position. Speed reload, that's all there is to it. So just so you know, once your rifle magazines are worn in, they'll drop free a little bit better. Not all rifles, not all magazines are going to drop free. That's fine. If they don't drop free, just yank it out, throw it on the ground. Not a big deal. Let's talk about this from a left-handed perspective. Alright, so we set it up now. We have an empty rifle with an empty magazine. It's at bolt lock. Right, it's at bolt lock. You notice I can feel for the chamber, feel for the bolt, and then that'll give me a status report on the rifle without having to take my eyes off of what I'm looking at. In this case, I'm looking at my camera. So right now, let's stage the fresh magazine. Could be in a pocket, could be on a belt pouch, could be on a plate carrier. So we're going to attempt to fire. We're going to go to fire. Okay, we're at magazine bolt lock, sorry. I just look down, see the status of my ejection port. It's open. I figure time to go to reload. Thumb, guess what? Left-hander, you just have to grab the magazine and chuck it. You grab the new one goes right in. So here's the trick. Some of you guys want to reach up here and push the bolt release with your trigger finger, but this is hard to find because you're blind and you only got one fingertip, and the tip of your fingertip's not very strong. Not when it's straight, at least. When a straight finger, you're trying to use force, it doesn't have any leverage. You need a curved finger for leverage. Curved finger makes it even harder to find. Better yet, take all 4 of these fingers, curve them, reach on the back, all 4 fingers, you have a better likelihood of pressing the button correctly. You hook your thumb right here, you're building muscle memory to find where that button is. All 4 fingers reach over, press the button, now your bolt closes, okay? So if you choose to use your bolt forwarding device, your bolt release, take your right hand, hook it on the magazine well, all 4 fingers curve, and press. So that way you have a high probability of using the tip of your finger to find the button. Now some people say use your hand and slap it. The problem with that is, first of all, you can't do this while maintaining good control of the rifle, because you have to take your control hand off. The second thing is the middle of your palm is hollow. Okay, so when you're using the middle of the palm that's hollow, that's empty right here, it caves in, you might end up hitting it but not engaging the switch properly. So it's better to use something that pokes out, such as the tip of your finger. If you have really long fingers, you can take all 4 fingers off here and use all 4 fingers to push it. Or again, you can go back to where we were earlier, roll it, ejection port down, grab the charging handle over the top, and just run it. Okay, so let's do that again. Fresh magazine goes in my pocket, in this case. Spent magazine goes into the rifle. I attempt to fire, weapons on fire. Ejection port open, okay. Magazine out, goes on the ground. Fresh magazine goes in, reach around the back. Ejection, bolt forward, back in the fight. Back to safe and ready position, okay? Any questions? So that should be fairly simple. Now, what if your bolt is forward and you still have a couple rounds and you want to make an emergency reload and drop your personal magazine? That's just the same minus pressing the bolt release. Okay? Nothing too complicated about it. So let's see that. Let's say we have a magazine ready. Let's say the bolt is forward because you still have some ammo. And you have a magazine that's in that's basically empty. You're pretty sure it's empty. You really don't care to retain it. This is an emergency, kind of, and you're willing to lose a few rounds in the magazine just to get to a fresh one as quickly as possible. Okay, so right here, we're going to bring the weapon muzzle up so you can run at the same time as you do this. Your second one, your old one's going to come out onto the ground, new one's going to go in. That's it. If you still have a chamber that's closed, bolt forward, and you still have rounds in the magazine, but you're willing to lose a couple to bring up to full capacity, this is how you do it. So it's an emergency reload, you're wasting a couple rounds, but you're bringing it up proactively to a full capacity, right? If we want to do that left-handed, again, it's not hard, it's the exact same shit. I want to shoot, I'm like, okay, done shooting. Magazine comes out, goes on the ground, new magazine goes right in. Done. Not very complicated, not very time consuming, but it requires a little bit of patience